memorial of Saint Fidelis of Sigmaringen. That's a mouthful. Priest and martyr. But just want to give a little kind of update to the schedule that we have coming up. So this evening, there will be live stream of evening prayer starting at 6:30 p.m. And then on the weekend, we have our normal weekend schedule, or quote-unquote normal coronavirus weekend schedule. So Saturday, the church is open for private prayer from 1 to 4:30. Confessions are heard from 3 to 4:30 in the sacristy in the church. There's signs that direct you in that way. On Sunday morning, we will live stream Mass at 8:30 a.m. And then the St. John's Church will be open from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. for private prayer. So that's kind of takes us into next week. One of the things I was reflecting on, this morning we get, to me, a familiar passage from the Acts of the Apostles. During this Easter time, many of our first readings at Mass are coming from the Acts of the Apostles, kind of telling the story of the early church, and we're continuing what's happening to the apostles as they continue to preach, Jesus Christ as Messiah, crucified, risen from the dead. The Jewish leaders, not at that time, not happy with what they're doing and the result of their preaching, and have been trying to silence them, stop them from doing that. And in today's first reading from the 6th chapter, I was at the Gospel, from the 3rd or 5th chapter of the Acts of the Apostles, one of the Pharisees, Gamaliel, we get some great names today, Gamaliel stands up and kind of goes through, gives us a little historical account of different, kind of religious leaders or zealots at that time that had come and gone. And his point being that, if Jesus is truly who they say he is, the Son of God, God incarnate, who has died for our sins and risen from the dead, you're not going to stop that. You can't beat God. But if it's just a human device of some sort, then it'll take care of itself. That it will not continue. And the names are only the names of the people prior to Jesus that he cites. Are not familiar to us except from this account. So we kind of see that playing out. And I think an application to our current situation, as we are still under the stay-at-home order, but as everyone, I think, seems to get a little bit more and more excited about the opportunities to open things up, as we keep talking about, and how that will happen, I think we do want to be reminded of we have to control what we can control. Not that we're fighting against God or anything like that. I'm not making any kind of statement that about of God's role in this, but I just think as we look for reasonable ways to gather together for the sacraments, as we probably have to do that under different circumstances. It's obviously going to take us some patience. It's going to take us some understanding. It's going to take us some humility. But it also, too, is this idea of we can kind of control certain things, but other things we really can't. There's an inherent risk in a lot of things that we do. And so to be able to eliminate every risk of every, kind of negative outcome is just not feasible. But we strive to protect ourselves and others as best we can. And like I said, by taking, reasonable steps. This kind of hit home to me a little bit more, too, about the idea of protecting others. Just recently about the idea of wearing a mask, especially in public. I was early on during this pandemic, one of the parishioners here at St. John's provided me with a mask, and I have it with me. I have it in my pocket. I can take it out, actually. Did I put it in my pocket? Did I put it somewhere else? I have my mask that I've been able to use at certain times. Of course, I don't have it in my pocket right now because I wanted to show it. It must be upstairs. anyways, and I've had to wear it at certain times. And, what's kind of struck me was hearing from a couple different sources the idea that the mask might provide us with maybe minimal protection to ourselves, but it really is about protecting others, that it provides a lot of protection to others, because it will keep, especially if we happen to be one of the percentage that they talk about who might be, have COVID-19 but aren't showing any symptoms, don't even realize, or, it's so mild that we didn't realize we had it. Those kind of things, or before we even show any symptoms, that this is a way of helping us to protect others. And so it's good to be reminded of that every once in a while too, that we want to take, yes, precautions obviously to protect ourselves, but also too our brothers and sisters, especially those who are most vulnerable. We definitely want to take whatever reasonable steps we can to do that, and wearing a mask and washing our hands, and some of these things that we've been encouraged to do are obviously reasonable steps that we can take. So I think we're all going to be moving into, hopefully, kind of a new phase of this pandemic, and the phase where we do start to see things opening up a little bit more. And that also, again, has its risk with it, but we want to do our best to protect both our health and well-being and the health and well-being of others. And so we'll try to control what we can control, and keep praying that God will grant us deliverance from this pandemic, and look forward to that time when we can gather together again. So I want to thank everybody for watching this morning. Please continue to keep me in your prayers. Know that you are continually in my prayers. And so as we continue to pray for each other and watch out for each other, let's stay healthy. Let's take whatever precautions we can to protect ourselves and others. And may God bless you this Friday.